Good evening and welcome to the Whisky Lover Society with me, Gert Retief. And tonight we are looking at the Glenglassaugh Evolution. It is a Highland single malt. It is matured in ex-bourbon cask. It is from the Tennessee distillery, and with a little bit of digging I found out that it had George Dickel bourbon in it. So not sure what to expect from it. Never had the George Dickel, only heard about it. It is natural color, no chill filtration. So what I did find out with a little bit of digging, it is just over 3 years old, so a very young, no age statement whiskey. It is produced by the Glenglassaugh distillery. There's around 6,000 bottles was made on this specific evolution. 50% ABV from what I could find online, still available for around 40 euros for the bottle. I also bought another sample of the Revival range. So after this review, I will also be looking at the Glenglassaugh Revival series. So onto the nose of the Glenglassaugh Evolution. Cheers. The first thing that you will notice, it is very light in color. I think this is also one of the lightest whiskies that I've tasted or seen. It does take a little bit of time. I poured this one about 15-20 minutes ago. And on the first pour, it was almost no smell came out. It was a little bit disappointing actually. So I gave it a little bit of time. It did open up to quite a nice fruity flavors. So color-wise, light gold, maybe a little bit of a straw color. And on the nose, after a little bit of time and a little bit of oxidization, it did start open up. And it's a nice light fruity nose. Quite pleasant actually. So the fruity notes are there. I get a little bit of a something like a pineapple note coming out. A little bit of a citrus type of note there. There's a little bit of an apple note as well. A hint of a very light honey. And in the back, I also get a little bit of a banana note, a little bit of a ripe banana. There's also a little bit of a apple cider note coming out, but all very faint, a hint of everything. Vanilla, definitely there is some vanilla notes coming out, but also again very subtle. Nothing is overpowering. Reminds me a little bit of a apple blossom. There's a sweetness to it, but it's definitely not overly sweet on the nose. Quite balanced, and that's it. Nothing complex to it. It's just a nice, something nice to nose. But remember, give it a little bit of time in the glass. So on the taste, cheers. It's nice. It is a little bit on a sweet side. You get a fresh fruit still, a little bit of an apple note coming out. A toffee note, definitely. A hint of the vanillas are still there. I get a little bit of a red licorice note coming out. But again, just a hint of it. Just that when you add some licorice, that little aftertaste that's left in your mouth, something similar to that. It is 3 years and a bit, but you do get that youthfulness of the alcohol. I would have loved to try this with a little bit of an age statement, even something like 8 or 9 years. I think it will improve tremendously after a couple of additional years. So it is nice. I cannot complain about anything. It's just a nice sipper, nice on the nose, nice on the taste, and a hint. And when I say a hint, I mean a very small amount of oak in the back. It's more a spicy oak than a bitter note coming out. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. As it is, I don't need to add water. For me, I don't really get a 50% ABV, but of course I will just add a little bit of water. So I'm not going to add a lot. I don't have maybe 25 ml left, so I'm just going to add maybe 5 drops of water to it, maybe half a teaspoon of water. First thing that you do notice, the little bit of a Scottish mist appearing, which I expect at 50% until filtered. So on the nose with a little bit of water, didn't really do anything on the nose wise. Maybe a little bit more fruity, a little bit of more sweetness coming out, but didn't really do much for me. So on the taste of water, cheers. So a little bit more sweeter. There's now also a hint of a sour note in the back. Not much. Everything hints in this one. A little bit of a caramel toffees definitely coming out as well. Even with a little bit of water, I do get that warm alcohol feeling that also suggests a little bit of a youthfulness, but it's not really a bad thing. I think it is just a pleasant drink. Score-wise, I'm going to give it 82 out of 100. On the whiskey, nothing special, nothing complex. It's just an easy drinking, sipping, daily sipper. I would definitely recommend it. If you are looking for something that is not overly complex, if you're looking something that's not really that expensive, something that you pour, drink and forget, I think this one is for you. It is nice on the nose, sweet on the nose, nice on the palate, no tannins coming out, no excessive oakiness coming out. It is just a nice drinking whiskey. Will I buy it again? I'm not sure. There is so many other whiskeys out there that is so much better than this one. And maybe with a little bit of an age statement at the same price, I think it's always a good idea to look somewhere else. So that's me on the Glenglassaugh Evolution. And leave a comment. Have you tried it? Maybe you love it. Maybe you think I'm just plain crazy. But leave a comment. Let's talk whiskey. Also, as a final thought, thank you very much for all the subscribers. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the suggestions of whiskeys that I still need to try. And love talking about whiskey. So see you next time, and cheers.